It's homecoming here at Lafayette, and John is with the Maroon Club president.
I sure am, Gary. I'm here with Paulo Coelho. And Paulo, you know, class of 2003, time flies by. You guys had an alumni game this morning. But before we get to some of that stuff, talk to us a little bit about your role as the president of the Maroon Club. The Maroon Club, as you know, is the fundraising arm of the athletic program at Lafayette College. It's very important to the school and to the athletes. Talk to us about your role and the importance of the money that you raise.
Yeah, so the role really is a role of listening, and it's listening to the alumni and everybody within that network. It's also a role in which I have to coordinate and administer a lot, and I work hand in hand with the executive director, Josh Azer, and it's really about fundraising. So the Maroon Club, what maybe a lot of folks don't know, is that from sports medicine to strength and conditioning, all the way to the Oaks Leadership Academy, we provide a lot of support for our student athletes and trying to make them have the best experience that they can have.
Well, there's no team on campus closer to the Oaks Leadership Academy and Dr. Oaks and Cindy Linville herself than the men's soccer team and the women's soccer team. But Paulo, it wasn't that long ago that you yourself were a student athlete here, played soccer here, Tim Lenahan and Dennis Bond. And talk to us a little bit about your exposure. What do you recall from your days about the Maroon Club? Were you aware in those days about what they did?
So I was aware as an 18 to 21-year-old, you're as aware as you can possibly be. Dr. Oaks was always at the top of the stairs for us, and we understood the family aspect of the men's soccer team and as well as Lafayette College. I didn't understand the breadth and depth of the Lafayette Alumni Network and the Maroon Club and everything that they provide for us. But it was something that was instilled in us from the very beginning, and Coach Leone and especially Coach Bond have always told us that it's not a one-year thing, it's not a two-year thing, it's not a four-year thing, it's a lifetime thing.
It's a lifetime thing for you, especially because not only are you a graduate, your wife is a graduate as well. In fact, she gave you orders to come here. Paulo, talk a little bit about early on in your tenure here, the challenges that you face and some of the opportunities that lie ahead.
So some of the challenges are really filling in and carrying on the legacy of the folks before me. So we've had icons running the Maroon Club, Cindy Linville, Hal Kamine, all the way to Jamie McLaughlin in the 80s. And so if I can do half of what they do and just carry on that tradition and legacy, it's great. The biggest hurdle, though, is alumni engagement. You know it. And it's just getting everybody back on campus, getting them involved with their programs. Everybody's being pulled in different directions now in life. So just making this a piece of that is important.
And Paulo, I'm thrilled because recently you've had contact with my own daughter, who works not far from you in New York City, and she was pulled in as a volunteer yourself, as you were, as the president of the Women's Friends Club. Talk to us about your motivation for doing it. Who reached out to you? Obviously you have the energy, and I think you have the vision. What motivated you to do it?
Have you ever said no to Cindy?
Case closed.
Yeah. No. It was instilled for me from the beginning, and it started with the coaches and Coach Bond, but also Jamie McLaughlin played an important part, and you need to give back. This school provided so much to all of us, and so being able to pay that forward is really important. So a lot of my work as soon as I had graduated was working with the men's soccer group, and whether it's internships or setting them up with jobs afterwards, or just donating for the locker room, whatever it could be, and that's really now just expanded to beyond men's soccer and to the entire athletic department.
Well, Paulo, you know Cindy well. Not only can no one say no to Cindy, it should be known Cindy never says no to us either. She's been terrific. Over the years, various sports have established their own individual friends clubs. So there's the umbrella organization of the Maroon Club, and then within that club there are friends groups. Talk a little bit about the friends clubs and how those programs have evolved.
Yeah, it's a good question. So there's actually a tweak this year. We just formed a subcommittee within the Maroon Club Executive Committee, not to create too many layers of bureaucracy, but that is coordinating with all of the Friends of chairs. So each program has a Friends of committee, and it's usually an 8 to 10 person group chaired by one individual, one alum, and it's really come down to what they can provide for the program and for the alumni network. So it's time and money, frankly, and in some cases ideas as well. And so what we're trying to do at the Maroon Club level is to make sure that all of the Friends of chairs are speaking with each other so that they're sharing best practices for example, last year, Jen Stone, field hockey coach, reached out to me, and she knew that the men's soccer group ran a great networking night. Every year for the past 10 years, one of our alums, Mike Winograd, at his law firm, hosts the juniors and seniors come in, and we have alumni that just speak to them about their different career paths, their different industries. And so she reached out to me and said, how did you do it? Who did you invite? How did you go about it? How did you work with the Maroon Club? So that's really the idea of Friends of. It's time and money.
Well, Cindy certainly knows how to recruit, and I have a feeling this is her #1 recruit right here. Make sure you don't let my daughter off the hook now. You got to go get her. Yeah. And Gary and Michael, you see why the alumni body is really the lifeblood of this program. Thanks to everybody out there. And Paulo, thanks to you. Gary, Michael, back to you guys.
All right, John, thank you very much. And thanks to the Maroon Club for all they do for Lafayette College.